slave trade in East Africa is in its twilight in the late 19th century. Two rival slave traders engage in a violent conflict over what little profits remain. Much like other films of the time, be it Goodbye Uncle Tom or Mandingo, Slavers offers an unflinching depiction of the slave trade. The presentation of the natives borders on sick caricature. African tribesmen help slavers capture members of rival tribes.
Where do I fucking start?
To the film's credit, it does feature a great score by Erhard Schoner. The movie doesn't hold back on the violence. Groin stabbings, decapitations, slaves used for target practice, a baby gets curb stomped. It would be too much for many a viewer. The film already tackled controversial material, but incidents during production added to that infamy. Horses died when the pyrotechnics detonated. The actual actors were used in place of stunt performers. I can't help but wonder whose brilliant idea it was to pair this film with Mr. Deathman on the Grindhouse Experience Volume 2 collection. I was intrigued by the casting in this film. There is some great talent here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they signed on thinking this was some somber, serious period piece and not an exploitative take on the slave trade. Jurgen Goslar is both actor and director for this film. He plays Max von Erken, slave trader and jealous husband to Anna von Erken. Anna is played by the lovely Britt Eklund. Eklund starred in The Man with the Golden Gun, The Wicker Man, and the original Get Carter. Trevor Howard plays Alec Mackenzie, the rival to von Erken. Despite his old age, Mackenzie is still trying to reap wealth from the slave trade. Howard enjoyed a lengthy career with such films as Mutiny on the Bounty, The Third Man, and even Richard Donner's Superman. Ron Ely plays Steve Hamilton, a business-minded individual. He has one of the more interesting subplots of the film. He supports the slave trade until he himself is in chains. White or black, it doesn't matter to a slave trader if money is to be made. This experience changes Hamilton's mind. Ray Milland plays Hassan, an Arab slave trader and mercenary. If there weren't enough red flags, Milland is the biggest one in the film. A Welsh actor playing an Arab. Questionably amusing to say the least. Milland ran the gamut of quality to exploitation. He worked under Alfred Hitchcock in Dial M for Murder. He was also in the Nature's Revenge film Frogs and The Thing with Two Heads. But you have to admit, he has the best headshot of any actor on the Internet Movie Database. Ken Gampu plays Musulma. Oh, I forgot to mention, he was also in Mr. Deathman. He was a generic henchman, which may explain why I don't remember him. In Slavers, he plays the head of a tribe working with Hassan, and it's another forgettable turn. I'm not saying this is him being a bad actor. I'm sure he was just poorly directed. Rounding out the cast is the one and only Cameron Mitchell. Mitchell is De Silva, a Mexican associate of the slave traders. Why is this a problem? Mitchell isn't Mexican or remotely Spanish. Despite being entertaining as all hell in other films, Mitchell gives a very subdued performance in Slavers. This is not the Cameron Mitchell we'll see in Deadly Prey.
Get back! Get back!
What is this? Who are you?
Who am I? A little man who spent 27 years of his life as a cop trying to put big shots like you away. 27 years in the filth and the dirt of the street, and there ain't no music down there. You watch the people in the streets, killing, raping each other, pumping dope through their veins, while big men like you sit in the fancy penthouses and at the poor slobs rot in hell. I know about you. As long as it puts money in your pocket. Today, the nobodies who made you rich are gonna win. Die, you son of a bitch.
Terror in Beverly Hills.
Yes, I'm watching the goddamn news. What are you watching, a porno movie?
Lieutenant Lennon here.
Get a trace on the location of the call, Lenny.
We'll put a trace on it.
Harder.
A super trace.
Give me that damn phone. Get a fucking super trace. Asshole.
Or the Toolbox Murders.
L-O-L-L-I-P-O-P spells lollipop. I bought you a lollipop. Nice.
This movie is rough viewing. It's shocking, the main characters are unappealing, the subject matter is distasteful and executed in such a manner. It has more going for it than Mr. Deathman, but that isn't saying a whole hell of a lot. And with this part done, we'll go ahead and rank the films so far in the second volume of the Grindhouse Experience, as difficult as this was. We did it for the last volume, so we'll keep this tradition going. In last place, Mr. Deathman. Third, Slavers. Second, Three Men to Kill. And in first place, Blazing Magnum. And I have a feeling it's going to be Blazing Magnum is the film to beat.